And on the previous video, I said something that actually I said several things that would be hated for in the DevRel community, but I sort of unpacked one thing and explained that developer advocates are not just the people who travel and eat on company behalf, but actually do lots of stuff for community. And in this video, I will unpack the other sort of heretical statement that is said in the previous video, and I'm really hitting you, like, go watch this, and also compare the audio setup in the previous video and this one, because I did iterate my audio setup and I need your feedback. But in this video, I mean, you clicked on it because of the clickbaity title, right? And actually it works. I will talk about all developer advocates being just extroverted programmers. No. That is basically it. You can watch in this video, but if you clicked, you may as well just continue in. Like in previous video, I told what developer advocates do beyond travels. They need, they support customers, they write documentation, they do demos, they do tutorials, they help, they support, they inspire, they advocate. Yes, they advocate you for the team building the product that you use. As easy as that. Do all my colleagues need to be technical? So I've been in developer advocacy for 11 years. Started at the very, very basic positions as a fresh grad. I mean, honestly, I started at an engineering position, but very quickly the dev team figured out that I'm shit as an engineer and I can do other things much more. And let's unpack that. What does it mean, like shit as an engineer, but good for helping customers with their programming issues? How can it be? Well, I'm speaking about Unity, and I'm speaking about year 2008 or 9, something like that. And remember, Symbian had Nokia phone at the time. Nokia phone. Are you old enough to even remember what Nokia phone is like? Not that today's shiny thing, but like the Finnish stuff with Symbian operating system way before. And I was a fresh grad after university, and Unity is a game engine. And people actually writing game engine on the bleeding edge for the mobiles. I mean, they're clever people, and I was a fresh grad. And I got into Unity because my diploma was about programming for Symbian, and I could code. I thought I was a good programmer. They, when hiring me, thought I was quite good in engineering, but I ended up taking over everything but programming so they could focus on programming, and this is how I got into developer relations. And if you're curious about that, actually I can unpack even more about that, but for now, look at this beautiful shadow from the camera. And I also have shadows I can play with that. I could embed this setup. I will iterate on the light setup more and see what I can do. And I also iterated on the audio setup from the comparing to the previous video. Do you like it better? Please say. That's why I'm doing these videos. I'm playing with audio, video, and setup and filters and all that, so that the video that I'm doing right now, straight, without much iterations, can go to YouTube. And as a podcast, it's funny, right? That YouTube on the top, podcast on the side. But yeah, but then let's go to developer advocates being technical or not. Think about running alpha and beta groups. Think about developer communities. Think about social media. Think about events. Virtual right now, but physical events before that. Think about many other things that you don't have to be an engineer to solve. Then also think about your experience as a programmer, as an engineer, with different tools, different SDKs. Remember how documentation pages look like. Some of them look like they came straight from the 80s, and some of them are actually convenient to use. Then think about social media accounts for some of the tools that you used, and the language that they spoke. And then think about ones that are run well, that are fun to read. And let me remind you, you as a programmer, you also sort of want to have fun, even if this is part of your job. Job has to be fun. I'm opening up, crazy stuff, right? Anyways, um, where was I? I was trying to say that for many things to help a certain product to appeal to you as a developer, the team helping your developer experience with the product doesn't need to be technical. And many roles have to be technical in order to support you with your technical issues. I have to be technical. Don't have to be as technical as, for example, the development director or as a lead engineer. Well, no, I don't need to know the architecture. I need to know how the tool is used. So in order to support you with your graphical issues with Unity, I don't need to be a programmer that had coded that particular thing. That would help, probably, but maybe not. Maybe myself sitting down with 10, 50, 100 users like you would help me to find out what kind of problems you're having with better than a person who had written this particular feature. And I'm speaking about from my own experience. In many cases, our own developers would talk to developer advocates to help narrow down the scope of problems, because they would have to just debug it. And if it's a huge code that runs on multiple platforms, for example, a game that runs on the device, and you're debugging that from a laptop, so it's like multiple steps, and it's hard to set up, and it's long. And if a person like a developer advocate who just have seen many issues would just come up like, hey, this particular thing in the toolchain needs to be updated, or need to be a particular version, or yes, there is a bug on Mac. It doesn't work on Windows. Where were we? So in the previous video, I told that developer advocates are mostly technical. In this video, I'm saying, yes, they are very often. I think I don't have numbers to prove that, but I think they are mostly technical. But there is, like, the whole industry is growing, and the definition of developer experience, you have heard about user experience, but now I'm talking about developer experience. The enjoyment of a particular tool that a user who is a programmer has. It's new, right? I failed to pack it into one single sentence properly. And what does a developer experience mean? Well, when you need to solve a problem and then you Google it out, and then there is a solution, and then time for you to sort of see if the solution is viable, time for you to adopt this particular SDK or a product in order to solve your problem. And the keyword is adopt. Since this is what happens, you adopt the tools. You don't want to learn using them. You don't want to have a webinar. You don't want to have a webinar in order to start like using some SDK or other development tool. You want to sort of use it, and there is a lot. In order for you as a developer to be able to use a particular tool, the development tool, the development team behind the developer tool that you as a developer use, there has to be like a match your skill set and your expectations, and them thinking about your potential skill set and expectations and the scope of problems. It should all match at least a point, and there should be a video about that, and that's what I'm gonna write down and do maybe next, maybe in a bit other videos, since somehow I have a backlog. But this has been a side of the videos that I have recorded today, iterating on my audio and video setup. And I also promised to tell you what kind of audio and video setup I end up with. And I have a magnificent tool that helps you. Like, for those who have survived this 10 minutes with me, let me show you the masterpiece, like the final touch of my audio pipeline that made this audio sound especially great. A tin can. Yes, a tin can. That's to put the microphone on and look how beautiful it is. Let's just stop recording, right? And if you have any questions or comments or ideas of, since I'm gonna keep iterating on that, and I promise to explain you what I'm doing and why with this audio setup, and why don't they just set up a corner in my house and make it a perfect streamer studio. Next videos that gonna happen in the next videos if I get enough views, if I figure out enough clickbaity titles, and if I get thumbs up to motivate me. And look at this, no, at this smiley face. I'm smiling. Okay, I'm out of cringy jokes budget. Bye.